Hey lovely people, I'm back. All right, so by the title of this video, you can tell I'm going to talk about the microbiome again. I'm going to talk about the microbiome because I got questions based on not the last video, but a video I did on the microbiome where I said things like fiber does not sculpt the microbiome, and that's ridiculous. And I got a lot of questions, and I get it. I understand why, because you guys are now being introduced into certain industry, right? The microbiome industry, the probiotic industry. And I want you to hear the words that I'm using. I'm using the word industry, right? Because it is an industry, and you guys think that this is something new, but it's not something new, and it's not new, the new frontier. It's the new frontier in terms of industry, in terms of marketing, in terms of revenue streams for these companies, but it is not new science. This is stuff that was already known. I've been in this world I was in that world, or I still am in this world, depending on how you look at it, for quite some time. I was a professional. I worked as a manager in a laboratory, and I'm telling you guys, I was there. I remember when the transition was being made from moving out of the clinical into the more retail space, okay? Because now it opens up a whole new revenue stream when they can market direct to consumer, these lab tests that they're pushing. All right, and this, I want you guys, if you guys don't believe me, I want you to look back in history as it pertains to pharmaceuticals. Okay, there was a time where drugs were not being advertised, okay, where drugs weren't in advertisements at all, because that was in the realm of the doctor. Okay, the doctor decided what drugs you get. But now they realize, oh wait, we can market to the consumer, and the consumer can drive the doctor into saying, hey, I think you should look into prescribing me this. I think you should look into prescribing me that. Well, I'm telling you, it's no different with these lab tests. I was there. I remember when this transition started happening. It is a transition, and it is a transition in terms of revenue stream. I just want you guys to be aware of this, because they're going to market the test to you, and they're going to market the solution to you, which is going to be probiotics. And this is why I'm saying to you, this is a hot emerging field. You got to have your wits about you and know what's going on, okay? So what am I saying when I say that food does not sculpt the microbiome and taking probiotics does not sculpt the microbiome? Am I saying you shouldn't eat certain foods and you shouldn't take probiotics? No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is you have to know the tools that you're working with. Food and taking probiotics does not sculpt the microbiome, okay? It's analogous to saying, and I butcher the English language because I have an accent. I'm from the Caribbean, if you guys haven't picked that up. Okay. So imagine sculpting a statue out of granite, right? And we all know granite is hard. We all know you need diamond tips to sculpt out of granite, and once that statue is made out of your granite stone, it's not going to break down easily, right? It's going to take thousands of years and environmental factors to change the sculpture of that granite. But let's say in 1,000 years you get bored with it, you live that long, you decide, I want to do something different, so I'm going to dress it up, let me put some paint on it, okay? And you put paint on it, and on the outside it looks different, right? It looks different, it feels different, but is it really different? Is the sculpture, the framework actually different? No, it's not, because you can remove the paint and the statue still stands. The statue's still going to be there, okay? And that's what I'm saying is happening with your microbiome. Your microbiome has already been sculpted, okay, before you even came into existence. Your microbiome was sculpted by your predecessors, your ancestors, the people that came before you. It was sculpted by their light, their water, and their magnetism, and their food choices. Your microbiome is unique to you, even based on your ethnicity, your race, your cultural background. These things, it's different. It's different in that arena, because these people existed in different parts of the world, ate different foods, and was exposed to different light over long periods of time. This is what sculpts your microbiome. This is what I'm saying is what sculpts your microbiome, okay? Outside of that, it will take thousands of years in order for the sculpture itself to change. However, you can put some paint on it and you can dress it up, right, with probiotics and with eating certain foods. Yeah, you can do that. You can. It will change some things in you, but it's not going to change the sculpture, because you're using the wrong tools. Okay, you didn't chisel the microbiome, you didn't chisel the sculpture with paint, right? And what people are trying to do is they're trying to change a sculpture with the wrong tool. They're trying to change a sculpture with the probiotics and with the foods. And I'm saying you can't do that. You can make some adjustments, but it's not going to fundamentally change the structure of your microbiome. Okay, when you eat certain foods, and even that takes time. Okay, when you eat certain foods and when you take probiotics, you're building up, if you're lucky, if you're consistent and you're lucky and consistent and lucky, right? If you do that, you build up a couple billion colonies within your microbiome profile. That's not a lot. It sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot, okay? Comparatively speaking, when you compare it to the structure of your microbiome, because what I'm saying is, compare a few billion colonies or cells, compare that to more. You have over 100 trillion cells in your body, human cells in your body, and your microbiome outnumbers that. Your microbiome outnumbers the human cells that you have in your body, okay? So compare that to a few billion. That's just paint. It's just paint on the microbiome, and you're gonna see some effects because this microbiome, that the paint that you put on there looks different. It gives a different vibe. Yes, these couple billion cells that you built up in your flora, in your microflora, they're gonna emit light. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. That's a part of my master class, right? They're giving messages, they're sending messages, and so you're gonna feel the effects, and so you feel like you did something like huge and different. But really you did not, because I will tell you this: the minute you stop eating that food and the minute you stop taking those probiotics, your microflora, those couple billion cells that you built up, they're gonna go away. They're gonna go away. Microorganisms are always moving in and out, but you have a set core sculpture that you're working with, okay? And if you want to change that for the better, you have to work with different tools. You got to work with different tools. You can't work with the food, and the food is the supportive mechanism. It is not the sculpting mechanism. I really want you guys to understand the difference between the two. And that's why I'm saying to you that these microbiome tests and these, they're useful depending on what you want. But if you really want to get to changing some stuff, those are not the tools you want to work with. Or you can use them as supportive mechanisms, right? So do we get it? Do we understand? I just cracked my fingers, sorry. But I mean, do you understand what I'm saying here? Look, you have to understand the tools. You have to understand what tools you need. And it's not food. It's not food. It's light, water, air, magnetism. Okay, these are the things. Like, I was trying not to say it, but I said it. Whatever. Light, air, water, magnetism. These are the real. And this is not new. Like I said, this is not new science. This is already known. This is already known. It takes thousands of years to change your microbiome. And if you really want to make a dent in it, you have to learn how to use the light, water, air, and magnetism to do that. You can't use food to do it. Food is just a supportive mechanism. All right, so I hope that helps. I really hope that worked to clarify some things for a few people, because that one really threw people for a loop. They couldn't understand that one. What do you mean taking probiotics? When I take my probiotics, I feel great. Of course you do. Of course, when you take your probiotics, you feel great. When you put the paint on the sculpture, it looked different. It looked different. It looked more appealing. You put paint on there that you wanted. You put the colors on there that you wanted. It felt great to look at it. It was more appealing. And this is what you're doing when you take the probiotics and you eat certain foods, is that you're putting, you're dressing your microflora differently, okay? Because you're adding some microflora in there, and like I said, that takes time and consistency, because if you stop, it goes away. It goes away. but that's not the fundamentals of your microflora. That's not really how it works. So I hope I wasn't rambling. I hope that helped someone. I do have some exciting things in the works for you guys. Okay, I am building a platform where I can put a community together, because I got a lot of questions that I can't really answer. I have a lot of educational material that I need to put together for you guys and for you guys to have access to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a community together where you guys can join my community and have access to all the educational stuff, have access to me. I can come in and help to guide some people. It has really been my life's work to help people move towards species specificity. Okay. So I'm putting some things together, and when it's all said and done, I will let you guys know, and I will post links, and everybody will have opportunities, and we can all join in and have fun in health, wellness, and abundance. All right. Okay, so I hope that helped. Love you guys. Bye.